Welcome to Metal Exposure, and thank you for joining us here today in an interesting, different mask to what we're used to seeing you in. How come you're wearing a different mask today?
Because I forgot mine, my original mask. Yeah, it's yeah. So as I said, we had a show on Saturday. It was our first show, so it was a bit hectic, and I think it was like 3 a.m. in the morning when we were unloading all of our gear in the rehearsal space, and everyone dropped their masks there. So I hope
Okay,
White got his own.
okay. Yeah, no, fair enough, fair enough. But I mean, we'll stick to the masks a little bit,
Yeah.
and t talk me through what inspired the idea to, to choose the masks, because the idea around using masks isn't necessarily a new thing, but what
No.
you seem to have done is gone with a very unique style that's something different, but in your face, as well as trying to keep a unique style. And that's very difficult to do, but you seem to have managed to do that quite well. Talk me through what the inspiration was there.
Well, thank you. Well, first, I think the mask idea was two-sided. On one side, we wanted to create something visual that people will remember. I think
Hmm.
most bands, like if you look at masks for like Slipknot or Sleep
Yeah,
Token, like
yeah.
people recognize the masks and hopefully it leaves an impression. So
Yes.
that's number one, and we wanted it to be a bit modern. um, and then, second of all, we thought if you put on a mask and you go on stage, it's kind of like you're having an alter ego or something. It's
Exactly.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it doesn't matter what you're doing. You can go full ape shit basically, and it's yeah. So I think that was one of our that was the two reasons why we chose the masks, and yeah. So, and there's White.
Welcome.
Hi. Wait a second. Yeah. All
And
right.
he didn't forget his mask.
No,
Awesome.
no.
Red, you look beautiful today.
Ah, thank you.
You're all looking great. You're all looking great.
That's you, obviously.
Do you design your own masks?
Um, what we did was we bought some like standard masks and we spray painted them.
Mm.
And I believe there's a video on YouTube showing the exact process, and then we cut away some things or adapt some
Yeah.
certain things. But as of right now, I was actually thinking about it last night. Trying and contact like a professional mask designer and
Okay.
develop it even further. Yeah, so
Is this
that's
something
the
that you've looked at maybe as a unique area of merch as well for your fans that they can
yeah.
buy alternative versions of the masks and things?
Who knows? Who knows? Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, yeah. I haven't really thought that far yet, but it would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How long have you been going as a band? And how long have you known each other? Tell us a little bit about your history.
Um, I'll start, and then White can finish off when he
Okay.
joined, basically.
Yeah.
So Green and I, we have the longest history, but it's not that long. We know each other for like 2 years. We were in a previous band together, and that band split up. So we decided to start something totally new, and it became a studio project at first, and then
Hmm.
after 3 months, by internet, Gold joined us. He wrote some vocals on some tracks that we made, and we thought, okay, this is super cool. Let's write an album. And in like 2, 3 months, we wrote Dethroned,
Yes, yeah.
and then we were like, okay,
And
and
that
what
came out in
now?
March, I think, didn't it?
Yeah, that
Yeah,
came out
yeah,
March this year,
yeah.
but effectively, we've been active on internets for just a bit more than a year now.
Okay, yeah.
But the full band lineup was completed in July, I think, when
Mhm.
Orange joined on drums, and White joined at, I think, June, July, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're pretty fresh.
Yeah, yeah. Pretty fresh, and yet you've still published almost 30 tracks in a year. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, we like to, as we call it, grind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The inspiration for these two different albums, were they chosen as themes? I mean, so if we look at Dethroned and then we look at A New Era, are they telling a story that you wanted to tell, or are they related in some other way?
um, I think I'll talk a bit about Dethroned, and then White can explain a bit more about New Era.
That's
Sounds
But
good.
good. Yeah.
so Dethroned was more or less a concept themed album about yeah, sort of like a story of a kingdom where you have this king and he gets betrayed, and we try to pick like different characters in like a medieval court. So you have the servant, for example, the servant serenade. You have some battles going on between him and his brother. So if you look at all the lyrics, it tells a story of a king who eventually gets dethroned.
Hmm.
And the background of that was that you see a lot of, even now, you see a lot of dictators or people who have a lot of power, and sometimes people like rise up and
Yeah.
yeah, kick somebody away, basically. So we didn't want it to be like an entirely medieval album, but it was more or less the story behind it. Yeah.
Mm. And I guess for a new era, we made it a little bit more personal, I guess. So it's like when you have personal issues, you're fighting with inner demons, thoughts, dark thoughts, and how you can stand up for it and rise up from it together with friends. I guess it's more, yeah, something we took from our own lives and things people can relate to, can see, or people that also have those thoughts can feel the music better.
Mm.
Then
Yeah.
maybe that's what the new era is more about. But it wasn't really a story, but more personal personal stories we wanted to tell the public.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And you,
And sorry.
I was just going to say you've been very generous with your music towards your fans in both of these albums. I think 13 and 15 tracks. You know,
Yeah.
it's quite uncommon now. I mean, a lot of bands are releasing just EPs, one or
Yeah.
two max a year, and you've really gone all out right at the beginning, and it's really really impressive. Do you intend to keep up that sort of momentum as you move into 2025 and beyond?
Um, well, the thing is, we write very easily, I would say. But for Dethroned, well, looking back, I would say there's a couple of tracks on there that I now would barely ever listen to. I would say, and I know it's only been in 1 year, but for me, it already feels like it's been out for 2 or 3 years. It still has some bangers and some songs that we love to play live, but I think it was more of like an experimental way to start and also attract band members, because if you have some music out, it's fairly easy for
True.
people to
Yeah.
say, okay, I enjoy this kind of stuff. I would like to play in this band. So that was also a bit of a tactical decision to release it that early without a full lineup. But with A New Era, I think it was more like, okay, we kind of know what musical direction we want to go into. And we wrote so many songs, we were like, let's just make another album. Like, why not? But for now, our focus will be quality over quantity.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
we have some singles, but there will not be an album in 2025. That's not on the list. And for Dethroned and A New Era, we produced, mixed everything, recorded everything ourselves. And for me personally, like I do most of the mixing and mastering,
Hmm.
and I would love it to be working with like a very good producer. So I think we'll take a little bit more time to figure all that out, and then we'll see. But there will be music being released in 2025, but maybe some singles or
Okay.
EPs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess in 2025 you also want to um more we want to how do I say um uh, Um, uh, we want to take time to practice for the live
Yeah,
shows. We want
yeah.
to go for the live shows more than we would love to record a new album. But like Red said, we will release some singles. We're also there is some music that we are working on right now, so it never stops, I guess. I know when I just joined the band, there was a lot of pressure. If I'm right, we I had some time to prepare the songs because I had the songs and I had time to prepare them. But in one day, I'm
Yeah.
correct. And one day, I did all the vocals on the songs. So
Wow.
I was there for from 9 a.m., I guess,
Yeah.
until 11 p.m., something like that. And we all did it in one day. So there was a
Yeah.
lot of pressure.
But that also says something about his qualities as a
Yeah,
vocalist
yeah.
because I've worked with several people in the studio and I was really amazed that like at the end, me and Green were both in the studio and we're just like we're not serious anymore. We couldn't focus and then White was basically like, guys, we need to finish this.
Yeah.
Get your act together. So that was great.
Fantastic, fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it sounds like a great team as well, though, that you all work very well together because you're able to
Yeah.
produce so much music. You're able to, perform in such a way as well and under such intense pressure as well.
Yeah.
Um, how do you all know each other?
Um, it's Green and I met because of our previous band. But I think the way we all got together basically was always by internet, like
Mhm.
TikTok or like Facebook community apps. And Gold basically invited our bass player, Blue, into the band. And Blue was connected to White. So it was kind of like a domino effect of people being dragged in. And
Mhm.
yeah, and we saw White perform live, Green and me, and we were blown away by his vocals. And the first idea was just to have him feature on one of our tracks of on the album. But but we were so impressed, and we were like, we want you to become a full member of this band if you're up for it. He was
Cool.
like, yeah, let's go. So
And are
yeah,
you doing lots of live performances at the moment?
that's for you, White.
We already had one that was last Saturday.
Hmm.
So that was our first. And now this Friday, there will be the first in Belgium.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a special one also. And then, yeah, there are some shows on the way. Um, we'll have a few in February and March, and then
January also
our
one.
what?
January we also have one show.
January,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Coming all the time.
Yeah, I think there's 20 or 21 shows in total being planned
Yeah.
up to June 2025.
Pretty
Yeah.
good going, yeah.
Yeah, and
And are they are
hopefully
they
there
are
will
they
be a
all
lot
in
more.
in sort of mainland Europe, or are you going further afield, or?
Now it's only Europe. Now we have
Yeah,
Belgium and the Netherlands,
Hmm.
some in Poland.
Okay. Yeah.
We had what was it more?
Croatia,
Croatia.
Slovenia,
Yeah.
Czech Republic,
Yep.
Italy, and I think, but I'm not sure Germany. But I really hope to go and play there, and
That's same.
yeah, and hopefully one day move overseas to the UK because we have quite some listeners there, so that will be
Yeah.
really
Okay.
cool to go there.
Yeah. Absolutely. You're very welcome. Let me know if you want to come over. We'll sort it out. We'll make it happen.
Yeah, well, we'd love to. Yeah.
And what what would you say to new fans who are just discovering you about your live shows? What should they expect?
Energy,
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
What more? Uh,
Fun.
quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want to have like a real show. It's not just a performance. It has to
Mm.
be a show. Um, we want to give all of ourselves in the show, so the audience can do it as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
And
So
we're like me as a guitar player, like I really admire musicians who play like a flawless show, but it's a lot more fun to go and watch to see musicians have fun on stage and run around and
mm,
move. And I think we will be going a bit more for the last thing, not to
yeah,
perfect every note that you're playing, but standing still, but just like having
correct.
some good energy. And also last Saturday was our first show, but we had some mosh pits going, and we kind of like jumped into the crowd for a bit, and just like
Fantastic.
that's what I really hope to expect, that when we want to engage with the fans and not just be performing, but just like having a
Yeah.
moment together.
Exactly.
yeah.
As you say, you're putting on a show rather than a performance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
can't always see that, but we do smile and laugh a lot underneath the
Yeah,
mask.
yeah, a lot.
We just have to imagine that when we come and see you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So you've mentioned the UK is somewhere that you'd like to play and perform live. Would there be any bands that you would like to collaborate with or to perform together with?
For me, I have one right on the spot, but it's a bit. I think it wouldn't be possible so soon. But Bleed From Within, like, but I know they're
Okay.
from
Yeah,
Glasgow, from Scotland,
they
but
are.
I really dig that band. They're amazing, and I also think Architects is also from the UK, right?
Yes.
Which is also a very good band. But for me, Bleed From Within, that would
Yeah.
be. But
Well,
that's a
Bleed
bit.
From Within are no strangers to performing with bands with masks, as they're currently touring with Slipknot in
Yeah,
the UK.
yeah, 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 yeah. Really cool.
So that's you never know. It could be on the cards one day.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah. Who
shows that
knows?
you're performing across Europe up until the summer now, are those headline shows, or are they supporting other bands?
Both. It's both.
Okay,
We
yeah,
we had
Yeah.
some headliners, but we also had some supports. But I don't know it by do you know
By
it,
heart.
Brett, when it is, or with who we play?
I think when we're actually on tour, it's mostly headlining, I
Yeah.
thought. But I don't have the list ready of all the bands that we'll be playing with, but I think it will be mainly support for now. But to be honest, I don't really care that much at which
no,
slot we're
as long
playing,
as
as
you get
long
to
as we're
play,
playing.
yeah,
And last Saturday also was great fun to be done playing and then like relax and enjoy, watch the other bands and
exactly, yeah.
just connect and have fun. Like so that yeah, it's great.
And also the advantage is you can then go and do that without anyone knowing who you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
also,
speaking
yeah.
of which, though, how do you sort of maintain the connections with your fans? Is it mostly through online communications and stuff, or do you also go out and interact with the fans as well in character?
Last Saturday we did well, obviously online is a big part.
Hmm.
But last Saturday, like when the doors were open in the venue, we were just like masked, but not with our
Hmm.
mask on, just like black,
Okay.
black.
Yeah. Yeah.
People were looking at us pretty weird, which is logical because you're like, is this a robbery or am I going to watch a show? But so it was quite awkward to be honest. But after the show, we kind of stayed in character and just spoke to people at the merch
We
stand and all that.
we were on the merch, so there
Mhm.
we could connect with some of our fans uh, in character with the masks.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's very cool. That's very cool. And how do you see your future? Because at the moment you're entirely independent. I understand. You're pretty
Yeah,
much doing everything yourselves. Do you
yeah.
have a vision to be, part of a bigger label, or to maintain the DIY approach?
Um, to be honest, I think that as long as we can do stuff ourselves, I don't see the point of joining a label.
Mm.
But then again, like if there's a major label or anything like that could make our lives easier, or then why not? We were always open with anybody to talk about options or yeah, seek for opportunities, but it's not like something that I think nowadays you would always need, except for the connections, because you see that sometimes smaller bands get bigger shows because they have the right connections, and that's still a hassle from time to time, to be honest.
Yeah, of course, of course. Anyone who's discovering you or watching this interview and haven't heard your music, what would you say to them, and as a good way of getting to know you in the best way?
It's for white.
Good question.
Yeah, it's a difficult one.
I guess we would say it's the music is very wide. It has a lot of touches from subgenres in it, so it's nice for multiple people to listen to it, as well as metalcore fans or deathcore fans, or so people who like the music more melodical. It's for everyone, a little touch of it, so it's nice for everyone to listen to it, I guess.
For
Hard stuff.
fans of which type of bands would you say you?
I don't know. There are a lot of Sleep Token fans that listen to our music. That's what I know.
But we're not like,
We're
I
not
wouldn't
like
say
them. It's not.
musically, I would not say more
No.
like Sleep Token. I would say more the influence. Our
In
heavier
Flames?
songs are more like Shadow of Intent,
And Flames, is that could that be?
Flames up to some point.
Hmm.
I don't know if we can fit ourselves into a box. Like maybe
No, you can't. That's what I think is really exciting
or-
about your
yeah.
music, is that it is quite diverse, and there's elements from across the metal spectrum, and that's what I really like, is that you've not just gone, oh, well, we're just going to do the same music as everyone else, but we'll put some masks on that'll make us different. You've gone, no, we're going to create something new, and we're going to take a little bit of all the different things that we like, bring them together, and create a show and something theatrical around that. And that was really impressive. But I wanted to hear what how you would describe it yourselves. But it is very hard. I agree.
Well, I think you did a great job. We're going to use that from now on.
Oh, please do. Please do. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Any final comments for our viewers here of this interview that you'd like to share?
I would say keep listening to metal, whatever bands. Go support your local bands and go see shows. And yeah, if you like what you see, please go check out our music. And if you don't, it's all fine. Yeah, and also enjoy the holidays because they're almost coming up.
That's right.
Christmas
That's
season. So for us, it will be time for a little break, and that will be just like 2-week break or something. Just relax a bit,
and then back out on the road in January.
Yeah. Then we're gonna go fully mental.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Seems like a great year ahead. And thank you both very much for the conversation. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and look forward to hopefully seeing you performing live in the new year.
Yeah, hopefully. Thank you very much for having us.
Thanks a lot.
Real pleasure.